much personal information can your discarded trash reveal about you? You may be very surprised. In fact, last night I illegally picked this off the street after Charlie Wu discarded it at the curb. Charlie, are you out there? Charlie! Well, let's see what we can learn about Charlie by looking through his trash. A number of receipts. I see here he has several receipts from the giant supermarket, 631 East Glebe Road in Alexandria. Now I know where he does his grocery shopping, the approximate days and times, as well as his food preferences. I see that he actually gets a lot of frozen processed food items, which could indicate convenience. Actually, as well, he does have a number of gluten-free items, which perhaps indicates a medical condition. Then there's even a discarded canister of contact solution. Looks like he uses soft corrective lenses. Oh, and here, keys to the kingdom, a Visa card statement torn into 2 pieces. Guess he doesn't care about shredding his sensitive documents. A lot of great information here. A receipt for 1 dozen red roses delivered to a Rebecca Miller. Perhaps a love interest here. What else we got in here? Some discarded magazines, classic motorsports, and cigar aficionado. Perhaps hobbies are cars and cigars. What else will we find here? Discarded pill canisters. Now I know his prescription medicines, the dosage amounts, the pharmacy where he gets these filled, and even the names of his doctors. But what else? One more thing. A discarded bottle of premium bourbon. Now I know what I might be able to get him as a great gift this upcoming holiday season. But why would I care about this information? Well, I'm a professional human hacker. As a former intelligence officer for the CIA, I wanted to learn everything I could about my targets, their wants, their desires, their motivations, and their vulnerabilities, so that I could use that to manipulate them, to procure intelligence for my country. I wanted to manipulate them, but you don't have to worry about me manipulating you. I'm not a threat to you. I'm now retired. However, there are still thousands of human hackers out there like me, work for intelligence services, industrial competitors, activist groups, and criminal groups. They're looking for human targets like you to manipulate, to be able to breach the security of the organizations that you work for, whether they be hospitals, financial service centers, restaurants, educational centers, government offices. These are the ones that they want to manipulate. But let me explain to you how this works, and then more importantly, provide to you 3 solid tips that you can incorporate immediately today to better equip yourself, to empower yourself, to have better control over your privacy, as well as prevent becoming a victim of human hacking. Now, human hackers don't have to gain access to our messy trash to learn about us. Today, we freely and openly upload personal information on a regular basis to social media. The information that we're putting up there can be considerable details about us, but it wasn't always like that. Now, think to the early 80s. People of my vintage may remember that time frame. Before the internet, before social media. Not many people knew personal information about us, perhaps 2 to 3 dozen family and friends. Today, however, there are over 3.9 billion users of social media. So we've gone from 2 to 3 dozen people to 3.9 billion people that have access to our personal information if we allow them to have that type of access. All right? So what type of information can we learn? If we learn this much information from our trash, what can a human hacker actually learn from us, extract from our social media profiles? Okay? From LinkedIn, for those of you on LinkedIn, a human hacker can learn about your academic and work history, the associations you belong to, the certifications and licenses that you have, and a great insight into your career aspirations. Those of you on Facebook, human hacker can learn about your birth date, your relationship status, your hobbies, your interests, your favorite sports team, your favorite book, your favorite movie. Where did you travel to? Who did you travel with? Where are you planning to travel in the future? Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and from our pictures on Facebook, human hackers can learn a lot about our social economic status. And those of you on Instagram, if you're constantly updating your picture posts, human hackers can learn about your pattern of life. What do you do on a routine basis other than going to the office and coming back home? Are you going to the gym? Are you going to the beach? Going to the university? Or happy hour with your friends? And then those of you on Twitter are constantly broadcasting your opinions about different things. People love to tweet. But what is this fascination that we have with putting so much personal information out there on social media? Numerous research studies, to include one conducted by Vogel, Roberts, Rose, and Echoes from the University of Toledo, point to a direct correlation between social media usage and our own self-esteem. We all love to get likes, and they feed into our emotions. Now, if you post something and you only get a couple of likes, you might be upset. You're not very happy about it. But if you receive a lot of likes, you feel really good. And so we continuously post more and more personal information out there, feeding the monster, social media, thinking that it's making us stronger. But in fact, it can lead to the contrary. The more people that know personal information about us, the more vulnerable we become. Because it's this information that the human hackers will utilize to develop a personality assessment profile on us. What are our motivations? What are our vulnerabilities? And in turn, these are leveraged in attempts to manipulate you. Who? Me? Not me. That would never happen to me. That happens to that other person, but not me. Well, unfortunately, that's what Stephanie thought. Stephanie was a registered nurse for a hospital in the Midwest that was targeted by a criminal group. Taking advantage of knowing that she had a passion for rescued animals, the human hacker sent to her via Facebook Messenger an attachment said to contain information regarding some recently rescued dogs. Now, she opened up that attachment from her workstation and it uploaded ransomware onto the IT network of the hospital, a hospital entrusted with the health and lives of hundreds of patients. Now, the hospital had no option but to quickly pay the ransomware to get their operations back online. However, unfortunately, one 8-year-old girl, Melissa, did die because they were unable to administer critical treatment to her in a timely manner during the shutdown. The hospital is now being sued for $25 million. Stephanie lost her job. She's reluctant to go back to her passion, nursing, and she definitely does not want to go back to social media. Now, how can a human hacker come to approach us via social media and remain completely anonymous? It's very easy. You can create a fake profile, also known as an avatar. Now, while there are many platforms that lend themselves for the creation of fake profiles, let me just give you one example for you to appreciate the level of threat. LinkedIn is a great example of a platform used for professional networking. Today, there are over 740 million profiles on LinkedIn from around the world. Now, while there's no current statistics regarding the number of fake profiles on LinkedIn, LinkedIn has self-reported taking down over 62 million fake profiles over the last 2 years. So if we were to make a very conservative estimate of 2% of the current 740 million profiles, that's already 14.8 million. Okay? But how long does it take a human hacker to develop a fake profile? About 20 to 30 minutes. They can take a picture from someone else on the internet. They can even use a computer-generated image. Then they can design a script that will incorporate commonalities with you, the target. Perhaps having graduated from the same university, working in the same profession, being a fan of the same sports club, or passionate about the same sort of humanitarian cause. What this does is, in the eyes of the target, make them feel this immediate trust and rapport with this fake profile. Okay? But once the profile is created, how long does it take to get those connections? Well, a professional human hacker can easily acquire over 500 valid connections within 10 to 15 days. Okay? How is that possible? Well, unfortunately, there's a large percentage of people who will immediately accept a connection request without even looking at the profile. Okay? And then once that human hacker has those connections, they'll reach out to other people in your network to get them to connect. By the time they reach out to you, the target, you will see that not only does this profile have over 500 connections, but people in your own circle, your network, are already connected. So you generally believe this is a true profile and will connect. Okay, but what's the objective in all this? Perhaps the human hacker is only reaching out to you to connect so that you can enhance their credibility before they move on to the ultimate target. So if you actually connect with them, think about it, it's almost like becoming an unwitting accomplice in their crime. Or maybe if you are the intended victim, is to connect with you and then get you to click on a malicious link or open a malicious attachment to upload malware. Such was the case of Stephanie. Or perhaps it's to elicit very sensitive information about you or sensitive proprietary information about the organization that you work for. Now, Gary was one of thousands of LinkedIn members who are approached every year by criminal organizations, industrial competitors, and intelligence services posing as executive recruiters. The executive recruiter telephoned Gary stating, "I'm very impressed with your background as seen on LinkedIn, and I believe that you'd be a perfect candidate for a position I'm looking to fill for one of my clients." Of course, the title was greater responsibility, and a much more attractive salary than what Gary was currently making. He was definitely enticed, and he agreed to get together for the luncheon interview. During that 1.5-hour session, the executive recruiter pumped him for lots of information, not only about him, but sensitive information regarding his employer. Gary was never recontacted again. However, the industrial competitor who had hired the hacker, he acquired the information and utilized it to better position itself in the marketplace to the detriment of Gary's firm. Okay, enough about this doom and gloom. What can you do to better protect yourselves from being a victim of human hacking? It's not that complicated. Let me leave you with 3 simple words: protect, verify, trust. Protect yourselves. Many of us have posted personal information on social media, and many of us will continue to do so. But we don't want 3.9 billion people to have access to this, right? So you use the strictest of privacy settings. Verify. The next time someone reaches out to you with a request to connect, don't connect unless you really know the person or that you can verify that they are legitimate. And verification is not that difficult either. Do a separate Google search on the name of the profile and some other data point from that profile. Maybe the name of the employer or the university. If the only thing that surfaces is that profile, that's a red flag. Verify, then trust. We need to understand the danger is not when we reach out to other people on social media. The danger, the risk is when other people we don't know reach out to us. They could have chosen us. They could have studied us based on our personal information that we put on our profile. They could have prepared this perfect pretext and then approach us in an attempt to manipulate us. Don't become the next Stephanie. Don't become the next Gary. Protect, verify, then trust. Thank you very much.